Alright, what is going on YouTube? It is Branded Despia here, or Deviri, welcome to the channel. I just wanted to make a video of a little bit of a deck profile. Got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Recently, started playing at locals, and had a decent amount of success so far playing Branded Despia, and I'm going to keep playing it in the future. I think the deck is a ton of fun, and yeah, this is kind of a budget deck profile, so we're not running Crossout, Thrust, or Duality for various reasons, but price is one of them. um, I would like to play Thrust, but Thrust is just like crazy. It's like $60 a copy right now, so maybe if the price goes down, I might change the build. But this is the build for now, and I think this is a really awesome deck to try if you're just getting back into the game and want to play some Yu-Gi-Oh! The extra deck is a little expensive, but the main deck and even half the extra deck I think is all accessible through the Albaz structure deck. So yeah, with that being said, quick shout outs, Metagames GX, awesome dude, and can't thank him enough for his content. He's always live streaming, always answering questions. Awesome content creator for Branded Despia. Galzo, his Branded Academy videos are awesome. And Yami Elat as well has a lot of cool like test hand videos and lots of theory stuff with Branded Despia. So yeah, be sure to go check those guys out. I'll put their links to their channels in the description. But without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. So starting off, we have 3 Aluber. I won't be explaining these too much, but yeah, you need the Searcher. This is a 45 card deck, so I think 3 is fine. Even seeing multiple is not the worst thing in the world. And 3 Albaz, you're going to be running through these pretty quick. You want to have 3. That's just my thought process. Some people play 1 or both of these at 2, but I think you want to see Engine as much as possible in this deck. So yeah, those are kind of mandatory. And then the 1 Quem and the 2 Cartesia. You could go more budget and run the Adlib. I just think the Quem is just so huge in this deck for many reasons that I could get more in depth into. I'm not going to, but yeah, pretty standard. You could run 2 Quem as well if you want to go that route, but I think 1 is fine for the most part. The Bestials, these are not mandatory. I think they just help build even stronger boards than you would already normally have. And in the mirror match, actually, Saronir does come up if it's in your hand, and they're branded fusioning, going into trying to get to Mirror Jade. You can just banish the Albaz engrave, and unless they have access to another one in hand or something, then you can kind of stop them dead in their tracks with this. But it's also obviously meant for the spell and trap dumping into the graveyard. One ofs, Tragedy, Mercurier, Albion. Some people run this one at 2 or 3. I think unless you're playing High Spirits, which I'm not in this deck, you only really need 1. It's good for recycling your hand, but yeah. And it also counts as Albaz on field or engrave, which does come up sometimes. Dark Magician. Here come the bricks of the deck. The Magician, the Puppet. You don't have to run Magician or Puppet. I just think that going first, these 2 really help you get to certain things that are pretty cool that we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, these are bricks. You don't want to draw them in your hand, but if you do, it's not the end of the world. And so with that, we're playing the Nadir package. Can't speak today. 3 Nadir, 1 Maximus. Really good for extending your plays, making your opponent have to part ways with some of their extra deck monsters, which actually does come up against the Fire King Snake Eye matchup, which is not the only deck you should be prepared for, but it is the most powerful deck you should be prepared for in this format. 3 Super Poly, good going first, even better going second. This can win you games by itself. Not much to be said there. One of the best spells in the deck. And then for some board breakers, we have 3 Droplet, as well as 3 talents. These are awesome. I love Droplet in the main deck, personally. I've really enjoyed having this card. Never upset when it comes up. Good for outing boards. And then talents as well, just helps you extend once your Branded Fusion gets Ash, because you should kind of be expecting that to happen. If you have Thrust, you would cut this to 1, probably, and then just run the 3 Thrust with 1 talents. Or just don't run it at all, you know? Thrust sometimes is good enough by itself with certain targets that you don't even need talents. 3 deployment. Yeah, this is pretty much mandatory. You want 3 deployment. You want to get out Cartesia or Albaz or even Dark Magician sometimes. These are huge to have. I think you should run 3 of them. And then 3 Branded Fusion. There's not much to be said here. These are the branded spells. This is a no-brainer. It's at 3, so we run 3. 3 opening. Some 1-ofs, Branded Loss, Branded Retribution, and where is it? Retribution. Sorry, Branded in red, Branded Loss, Branded Retribution. Yeah, these are the branded spells. The branded Holy Trinity of not 3 but 9. But yeah, you want to be running these. These are kind of your engine that you want to be seeing for the most part. I guess Retribution, you don't really want to hard draw that, but it's not the end of the world if you do. And then just some extra stuff here. 1-ofs Called By, Gold Sark, Foolish Burial. These 2 are good for getting your engine going. If you don't see any engine other than these, you can start hopefully making your plays with one of these 2 or both. And then Duplication. Again, this is a lot stronger with Thrust, but if you draw this going first, it can be really devastating for your opponent as well. But obviously you want to side this out going second. And then obviously there's other cards as well you want to side out going second, but without getting too in depth, we'll move on to the extra deck. So this is pretty standard stuff. Super poly targets, I'll just start with those. You want to be running these 3, I think. Yeah, you want to break boards as much as possible, and these 3 help you do it. So 1 of Mud Dragon, 1 Garura, and 1 Dragostapelia. Guardian Chimera. You don't have many ways to out back row with this deck, if any, really. So this is one of your main ways to do that. If there's like a pesky spell or trap that you need to deal with, Chimera can do that, but it's also great non-targeting destruction. And helps you draw cards, so kind of nice in that way. The Quertus and the Grand Guignol. You know, again, I think these are pretty nice, pretty useful. Quertus comes up sometimes if you have Grand Guignol on board and they're going battle phase, you know, attack 0. So kind of nice. Works in kind of the way of similar way to Linkuriboh in that way. And then Dragoon. I think this card is really good going first. I don't always go into it, but if I get shiftered, this is my go-to. I'm trying to get to Dark Dragoon because my opponent's already used up a card in their hand, and now I have a negate, an Omni Negate, and a free destruction basically with Dragoon. This came up against a Flute player. I hit him with Shifter, or he hit me with Shifter, and I basically negated his search, popped his 1 monster in the field, and that was game. That was just game. So I like running Dragoon. I know some people have been cutting it, but I like it going first, at least. And then I sided out going second. The Albaz Fusions, 2 Albion, 1 Titaniclad, 1 Rinbrum, 1 Lubellion, 2 Mirror Jade. I think 2 is pretty standard at this point. I think you want to have the second one in case the first one gets banished. And if you're not running Adlib, you don't really have a way to get it back. And then Albion. I guess you could... yeah, I guess you could get it back with Lubellion, but again, this is just kind of the standard, I think, right now. You could cut one of these, but I think it's just better to have another one on follow-up. And then this is my favorite card in the entire deck. I love Sanctifier. And it has so many applications that aren't just the puppet lock. So if Gimmick Puppet does get banned on the next ban list or whatever, this will still be an amazing card because of its revive effect on your opponent's turn. Gives you a lot of interaction. You know, say they bring out a huge boss monster, you just can get out Albaz, and if it doesn't get negated, you just fuse into Mirror Jade if you don't already have it, right? If it's a big Xyz or Link or Synchro or Fusion, I believe. Yeah, so that's the extra deck. We'll get to the side deck now. I'm running 3 Ash. This is the, I still think, the best hand trap in the game. One of the best, anyway. Yeah, there's not much to be said there. Ash is great. Not as good against the Fire Kings, but we don't worry about that too much. We do have other cards against them. Cyclone, 3 Cyclone. Like I said, you need more ways to out back row. If someone has like a summon limit or an anti-spell, you want to see this and be able to get rid of it, because it's just an auto lose if you can't out it somehow. Although anti-spell would break this card, but for the most part, if you can survive a turn, I guess you can Cosmic, and you can activate it in the draw phase before they're able to flip it, right? So yeah, sometimes you want to do that. Okay, and then some 2-ofs. We have 2 Bell, 2 Nibiru, 2 Evenly, and 2 Soul Release. A lot of this is to combat the Snake Eye Fire King matchup. These are really old, by the way. I had to dig out into my old cards to get these, but they come up a lot now with the graveyard based decks. Yeah, I don't really like Evenly that much, but I think, you know, just being able to banish so that it just can't build up their entire board back is really nice. The only thing they leave on the field is usually their most important card, but then you can just Mirror Jade that if you're able to extend past that. Obviously, you have to lose your battle phase, but sometimes it's worth. And then Bell's really good against Lab, and then Nib, obviously, for the combo decks, can really be devastating. Okay, and then the last card, Masquerade. You could save for time, or if your opponent gets down to like around 3,000 life points, this is huge. I always side this in going second, and I've even experimented with it going first. I think Masquerade is an underrated card. They have to out it in some way, shape, or form. They have to do something about this card. And if they don't, they have to pay 600 life points for anything they do, right? So you can burn deck somebody or win to time just off Masquerade, which is huge. So yeah, that being said, guys, that's my deck profile. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to see more content, I might do some other stuff like test hands or pack opening, stuff like that, if you guys would like to see stuff like that. Or you know, I play Master Duel, so I might even do some of that content if that's something that you guys would be interested in. So yeah, let me know what you think, and yeah, have a great rest of your day, guys. Take care.